You have seen Lara Croft fire two pistols at once in every game, every movie, every trailer since 1996. That move, the one you probably tried to imitate with finger guns as a kid, is completely impossible, and no military or law enforcement agency on Earth has ever used it. This video examines firearms strictly as historical movie props and within a film analysis context. It is not about real-world use, tactics, or instruction. You remember Lara backflipping through temples, both guns blazing, dropping enemies left and right. That move was never based on anything real. It was copied directly from a movie. A 22-year-old graphic artist named Toby Gard lifted the look from John Woo's 1992 film Hard Boiled, the Hong Kong action movie that made firing two guns at once look like art. Every time you picked up a controller and watched Lara spray bullets from both hands, you were watching a 22-year-old's love letter to Hong Kong cinema. The gameplay looked cool. The physics behind it were pure choreography. Gard started at a small English studio called Core Design in 1994 and spent 2 years building the game that launched in 1996. His first concept was a guy with a whip and a hat, basically Indiana Jones fan fiction, and co-founder Jeremy Smith rejected it immediately. Gard pivoted to a female lead and pulled from pop artist Nana Cherry and the comic book character Tank Girl alongside Wu. The character started as Laura Cruz, a tough South American woman. Co-creator Paul Douglas changed Laura to Lara after flipping through a baby names book. The name comes from Larissa, a Greek word meaning citadel. Scriptwriter Vicky Arnold swapped Cruz for Croft to make her sound more British. And just like that, one of gaming's most recognizable characters had an identity. But those twin pistols you remember so clearly, they were borrowed from a film set, not from any firing range on the planet. You picture Lara with those specific chrome pistols from the 2001 movie. Those guns almost never existed. Paramount's prop department originally wanted IMI Desert Eagles, but a Desert Eagle weighs about 4.4 pounds loaded. The team at Bapty & Cohran in London realized almost immediately that Angelina Jolie could not swing those through the bungee ballet sequences the script required. Too heavy, too bulky, wrong prop for the choreography. So they chose a pair of Heckler & Koch USP Match pistols in 9mm, serial numbers 24063928 and 24063929. In the original 1996 to 2000 games, Lara's pistols had been modeled after the Browning High Power, so this was a completely new look. The prop team customized these specifically for filming, adding ambidextrous slide releases so Jolie could manipulate them with either hand, jet funnel flared magazine wells to make reloads look faster on camera, and 18-round magazines. Every single modification was made for the camera, not for accuracy. And that choice, made by prop builders in a London workshop, became the most iconic gun silhouette in gaming history. Here is the myth. On screen, these guns look like toys in Lara's hands, light and easy and effortless. In reality, the USP Match is one of the best pistols ever manufactured, adopted by actual militaries worldwide. The German military uses a variant called the P8 as its standard sidearm. U.S. Special Operations Command uses the Mark 23 version for Navy SEALs and Army Special Forces. HK documented one USP sent in for service after 200,000 rounds fired, still functioning. That is the kind of gun you build a career around, not the kind you hold sideways in one hand while your other hand does the same thing. The specs back it up. The HK USP Match weighs 2.6 pounds unloaded with an 8.7-inch overall length and a 6-inch barrel. It uses a patented dual-spring recoil system with a polymer buffer that reduces felt recoil by roughly 40%. The trigger pull in single action sits at about 4 pounds, which is match-grade territory. The barrel uses an O-ring near the muzzle for precise lockup, and the closely related USP expert shoots 1.5-inch groups at 25 yards with match ammunition. Multiple U.S. law enforcement agencies, including Customs and Border Protection, have carried USP variants on duty. One gun publication called the USP-45 one of the finest duty-grade handguns ever made in .45 caliber. The USP Match hit the market in 1997 and was discontinued around 1999, making it a collector piece. Original retail was roughly $1,000 to $1,400. Today, they go for $3,000 to $4,000, partly because of the Tomb Raider bump. The actual screen, used pair from Jolie's film, went to auction at Rock Island in 2022 with an estimate of $25,000 to $45,000. A pair of movie props worth more than most cars. Crystal Dynamics adopted the USP Match as Lara's in-game pistol starting with Tomb Raider Legend in 2006, calling them the RGP Mach 5 and describing them as counterbalanced to reduce recoil with custom high-capacity magazines, a direct nod to the real specifications. So the games eventually matched the film props. The problem is what happens when the film asks you to believe someone can fire two of these at once. You have seen Lara lock onto two enemies at the same time, one gun per target, and drop them both. Your eyes cannot physically do that. Human binocular vision converges both eyes onto a single point of focus to create one clear image. You cannot focus on two separate sight pictures at the same time, period. A well-known tactical publication called Breach Bang Clear confirmed it, stating that real accuracy with dual wielding is not achievable even for cross-eye dominant people. Think about the last time you tried to focus on two things at once, like reading your phone while someone is talking to you. Your brain picks one and the other goes blurry. That is exactly what happens with two guns. Your brain locks onto one target and shoves everything else into peripheral blur. So every scene where Lara tracks two separate targets and hits both, your own biology says that is a visual effect, not a skill. You have watched Lara dual wield and assumed it was just hard, something only an elite person could pull off. A retired Delta Force operator named Larry Vickers actually tested that assumption. The dual wield run finished in 2.81 seconds with multiple clean misses. The single pistol run took 3.73 seconds, almost a full second slower, and hit every target. Faster time, worse results. That is the trade-off the movies never show you. Vickers ran the comparison with fellow Special Operations Officer Dave Royer across multiple drills, stationary against 5 targets and mobile from 30 yards. Single pistol shooting won in both accuracy and speed every time. Even Mythbusters tested dual wielding and found that only a single gun could match a proper two-handed grip. The deciding factor was always the ability to look down the sights. Trained Special Operations veterans cannot replicate what Lara does on screen, even in controlled conditions. You've watched Lara empty both magazines and keep fighting without missing a beat. The movies cut around the reload for a reason. A dual-wield reload takes 10 seconds or more. A single pistol reload takes 1.5 to 2 seconds. That is a 5-to-1 ratio, and it is exactly why no film ever lingers on that part. Here is why it gets even worse. A proper two-handed grip creates a push-pull system. The firing hand pushes forward while the support hand pulls back. The support hand handles about 60% of recoil management. Remove it, and all that force goes straight into one wrist, one forearm, one shoulder. Muzzle flip increases dramatically. Follow-up shots slow down because the shooter has to fight the gun back to target unassisted. And the risk of something called limp wristing goes up, where an insufficient grip causes the slide to short stroke, producing jams and failures to feed. Holding a 3-pound loaded USP match at arm's length is an isometric exercise. Olympic pistol shooters train forearm endurance because even one gun causes serious fatigue during competition. 2 guns means over 6 pounds split between both arms with zero mutual support, leading to muscle failure within minutes. And here is something you have probably never thought about while watching Lara empty 2 magazines. With one pistol, you press the release, guide the fresh magazine in, seat it, release the slide. One smooth motion with 2 cooperating hands. With 2 guns, you have to secure one pistol, reload the free one, secure that one, pick up the second, reload it, then draw both again. Lara's USP Match pistols with jet funnel magazines hold 18 rounds each. At rapid fire rates, you empty one magazine in 3 to 5 seconds. So you spend more time reloading than shooting, which is exactly the kind of detail that never makes it into a trailer. You are probably thinking, well, maybe someone with enough practice could make dual wielding work. Jerry Michalek, 54 national titles, 47 world titles, over 2 million rounds fired in competition. Is that someone? He got zero speed advantage from dual wielding. His single weapon accuracy sat at 92.3%, and his dual wield accuracy was also 92.3%, identical. His per-shot rate was actually slower with two guns, 1.46 seconds versus 1.38 with one. The greatest competitive shooter alive had to alternate weapons and stand completely still just to keep his hit rate. That is the reality behind the coolest-looking move in action cinema. He has done dual-wield demonstrations, including firing 60 rounds from two Glock 17 with extended magazines in about 5 seconds. He was visibly shaking his hands afterward from the force. This is the guy with more practice than anyone alive, and even he could not make it faster or more accurate. Jonathan Ferguson, curator of firearms at the Royal Armouries Museum, said it plainly: dual wielding makes zero practical sense given modern magazines, stable techniques, and speed reloading. He called it something for very close quarter, last-ditch, desperate situations. Basically the opposite of what Lara does in every single game and film. And here are numbers that put the film fantasy into perspective. A 2008 study found NYPD officers using proper two-handed technique hit their target only 18% of the time in actual encounters. Dallas police data from 2003 to 2017 showed a 35% hit rate, with misses in nearly half of all incidents. These are professionals with both hands on one gun using sights. Take away the support hand in the sight picture, and those numbers get even worse. You remember Chow Yun-Fat sliding down a banister and hard-boiled, both pistols firing, never missing. That one scene invented every dual-wielding moment that came after it. John Woo's 1986 film A Better Tomorrow, starring Chow with twin Beretta 92F pistols, broke Hong Kong box office records and created an entire genre called heroic bloodshed. Before that film, gun choreography was not a major draw in Hong Kong cinema. Woo approached gunfights like a choreographer approaches dance, and that single creative decision changed action cinema permanently. Woo refined the visual language through The Killer in 1989 and Hard Boiled in 1992. Tracking shots, slow motion, alternating fire, creating a rhythmic beat that became the template. The Wachowskis brought it to American audiences with The Matrix in 1999. Kurt Wimmer pushed it further in equilibrium in 2002 with a fictional martial art called Gun Kata. And then Jolie's Lara Croft joined the lineage with the 2001 film, swinging on bungee cables through Croft Manor with both USP matches blazing. Historically, carrying multiple firearms made sense when guns were single shot. Blackbeard wore 6 preloaded flintlock pistols because reloading took 20 to 30 seconds. Civil War guerrillas like Jesse James carried up to 6 revolvers for the same reason. But they all fired one at a time, empty one, draw the next. The few documented attempts at firing 2 guns simultaneously went poorly. Dallas Staudenmeier, Marshal of El Paso, drew 2 pistols in a gunfight in 1881 and killed 3 men. But his first shot hit an innocent bystander. What John Woo created, and what Tomb Raider turned into a brand, is pure cinematic choreography. You grew up thinking those dual pistols were Lara Croft. The best-selling Tomb Raider game ever made proved they were not. The 2013 reboot gave Lara a scavenged bow on the island of Yamatai and sold 14.5 million copies, the biggest entry in the entire franchise. A stick and a string outsold the twin gun fantasy. The dual pistols had appeared in virtually every mainline game from 1996 through 2008. The franchise sold 7 million copies of the original, 8 million of Tomb Raider 2, and generated close to $1.2 billion in revenue by 2002 alone. Then, the game director stated plainly that the bow was the new signature weapon. The 2018 film with Alicia Vikander followed the same approach, giving Lara a bow, climbing axes, and improvised weapons. In a small piece of fan service, the final scene shows Lara walking into a pawn shop, picking up a pair of HK USP Match pistols and saying she will take two. She never fires them. The only place dual wielding ever worked was on a screen. Every shooting stance you have ever seen in a training video, a competition, or a military manual uses two hands on one gun. In the late 1950s, Deputy Sheriff Jack Weaver changed competitive shooting by using both hands, creating tension that controlled the gun. That became a pillar taught at Gunsight Academy worldwide. The isosceles stance followed in the 1980s, squaring the shooter with both arms extended. A Department of Justice study found that under stress, 78.6% of officers naturally adopted this stance. Decades of real experience and combat feedback all point the same direction. The HK USP Match is an elite firearm, accurate, reliable, military-proven, and now a collector icon partly because of Lara Croft. The dual-wielding fantasy made for incredible cinema and unforgettable gaming. But the reality is simple. Two hands on one gun beats one hand on each every single time.